My name is Pei, and today I'm going to show you how to fight one of the best mid-level bosses in OSRS. Phantom Muspah is a solo boss that can be fought after completion of Secrets of the North quest. He's stronger than its quest variant, but otherwise shares the same attacks and mechanics. Muspah has some decent drops. Notable ones are Ancient Icon and Venator Shard. With Venator Shards you can craft a Venator Bow, and with Ancient Icon you can craft an Ancient Scepter, which has some pretty cool and unique upgrades if you apply quartzes, which are dropped by various Desert Treasure 2 bosses. If you wanna learn how to fight DT2 bosses, there's a pretty neat guide on my channel. Muspah is located in the Gorok dungeon, and the fastest way to reach him is by using the Ring of Shadows to teleport to Gorok dungeon. Just be wary that this method requires completion of DT2 and a Frozen Tablet, which is a drop from Duke Succulus. If you don't have that, the fastest way to reach Muspah is by using the Icy Basalt. Go through the gap in the fence and descend down the stairs east. Once inside, go south and enter the cave. Muspah is located in the southwest crevice. You wanna fight Muspah with a combination of ranged and mage gear, with ranged being the dominant one. There are also two approaches to the fight. First, or the secure way, is by freezing Muspah whenever he's in melee phase. You should use this approach if you're lower level or you're an Iron Man with shit gear, and the second one is just running away from him and dealing damage. There's something broken with Muspah, so as long as he's moving while attacking with melee, he's never going to deal melee damage to you. I prefer the second, running method, because that way you can use trolls and do more damage. Gear that I use for this encounter is pretty cheap, with many room for upgrades or even downgrades if you're low on GP. As always, a good starting point is the RuneScape wiki, which has all the recommended equipment starting from most effective to least effective. Anyhow, for my range setup, I've used the Huey Hide armor, which is almost identical to the Blessed D-Hide, but has more magic defense and prayer bonus. The real reason why I used it is because it's new and it looks derpy. I like it. A dragon crossbow with 3 sets of bolts, ruby for the insane 100 damage procs, sapphire bolts because he has a phase where we need to drain his prayer, and diamond to finish him off. Avas, a fury amulet and malediction ward as my offhand. Barrow's gloves, Arania boots and Ring of Shadows are hard-coded into the setup. Muspah is 65% weak to air spells, so you can use any staff on a standard spellbook and shred. This is especially useful if your mage level is lower, so you could combine the new Twin Flame staff and proc double wind waves. However, since I wanna use trolls, I just stick to the trident. It does a lot of damage as well, so my mage switch is the trident, a mage's book, blue moon set, mage arena 2 cape and an occult. Don't forget to bring a rune pouch and your book of the dead. Otherwise, fill your inventory with anglers and a few restores so you can do at least 2 kills per trip. Obviously pre-pot a divine range and stamina if needed, and bring one divine range pot with you. Muspah has two forms, ranged and melee. The ranged form has this sort of a green palette to it, while the melee form is a bit grayish. What you need to remember is that while Muspah is in his ranged form, he's going to attack mostly with ranged, so you wanna pray ranged. Occasionally though, Muspah will charge up a magic attack and you'll need to pray mage against that. It is imperative to swap to protect mage as soon as you see the animation. Praying after he already throws the orb at you will result in taking some massive damage. The mage attack has a unique sound, so this can be your cue as well. While Muspah is in his melee form, he'll chase you down and deal melee damage, so you need to pray melee here. There are a few different methods to avoid his attacks completely. The first, or the newbie method, is by using Ice Barrage. Just freeze Muspah whenever he gets to his melee form and spam attacks until he's phased out. It's not a bad method, it's a pretty good way to clock in a few kills and get familiar with the boss. You lose a bit of DPS by not having trolls, but it's nothing significant. Second, or the everyone is doing it method, is something called a step back. The proper way of doing this is by counting the in-game ticks and all that mumbo jumbo, but what I really do is I just throw myself into the fire until it becomes a feeling. So basically, as long as the boss is moving and attacking at the same time, he's going to hit zeros. It's just one of those muscle memory RuneScape things, but I'm sure there are other videos which break down the method tick by tick. And the third one, or I'm just here to have fun method, is what's used in this guide, and it basically involves you running the fuck away from Muspah. Muspah melee phase is broken in a way that as long as he's moving while attacking, he'll deal constant zeros. So that's what we'll do. While Muspah is in his melee phase, just attack him and run away. As long as you're both moving, he's going to hit zeros. It's basically the step back method, but for lazy fucks. The good thing to know is that Muspah will switch his form after taking exactly 80 damage in his melee form and 100 damage in his range form. So if you ever get lucky with the Ruby Bolt procs, this can happen. Poor bastard. During transformations, Muspah will spawn spikes around the arena. These deal damage if they spawn underneath you or if you walk through them. Once Muspah switches his form, he's always going to spawn one spike underneath you, so always move a tile whenever he phases out. That spike is going to be hardened and will stay in its place. There are really only two special attacks and they trigger at 75% and 50% of his HP. The first one is called homing spikes, and Muspah will literally send homing spikes towards you. Just run away and avoid them. After around 20 seconds, the spikes will harden and stop moving. The second special is called lightning clouds and is basically defeated by a single tile. So all you need to do is import the marker from the video description below and just stand on the marked tile until Muspah is done with his dance. If you have a long range weapon, you can attack the boss from this tile. Otherwise, just wait it out and continue the encounter normally. I usually attack Muspah with ruby bolts until somewhere around 250 or 200 HP, then switch to diamond bolts. This is because ruby bolt procs are not efficient at lower HP since they deal a percentage based damage, while diamond bolts have a chance to increase your maximum damage by 15%, which is way better to finish the boss. If you remember, we brought one extra set of bolts, the Sapphire Bolts E, and these have a special effect called Clear Mind, and it drains a portion of the target's prayer points and grants them to the attacker. Muspah has a shield phase where we basically need to smite and drain his prayer in order for the shield to break. So upon reaching less than 127 HP, Muspah will teleport to the center of the arena and unleash a massive shockwave. You need to hide behind one of the hardened spikes in order to block the attack. Afterwards, Muspah will switch to his shield form and you'll need to equip your Sapphire Bolts and start attacking. In this form, Muspah will mostly attack you with ranged, but he's going to throw an occasional magic attack, so keep an eye on your prayers. Alongside that, he's going to spawn spikes beneath you, so you'll need to watch out for those as well. His shield has 75 HP and your bolt proc does 33 damage, so if you get 2 quick procs, you're almost always done with the shield phase. Switch back to diamond bolts and finish him off. But there's a small catch. Muspah will hit through prayers here and will heal itself for 50% of the damage inflicted, so it really depends on the damage you take as well. Your regular bolt attacks will drain 2 HP per hit, and you can turn on smite in between attacks to increase your damage. You can also use greater corruption if you're running Arceus spellbook. This will drain some additional prayer, but basically just avoid spikes and try not to get hit off prayer. The bolt procs will come fast since they have 25% chance to trigger. Like I mentioned previously, after the shield phase he's going to revert back to his range phase, so just switch to your diamond bolts, make sure to pray correctly and avoid spikes on the floor. Honestly, the fight is really fun, and for me it's probably one of the best mid-game bosses since he's not that heavy on mechanics and has some decent drops. Just choose whichever melee method works for you. If you wanna freeze the boss, do that. If you wanna try hard with the step back method, be my guest. If you wanna run around like a donkey like me, you can do that as well. Choose whichever works for you and just slap the boss a few times. Hopefully you give this boss a few tries, good luck with the drops, and cheers!